be unto you, all of you, with love, joy, peace, prosperity, and longevity from God our Father and from our Lord Jesus Christ. Yes, this is Dr. Ferman, the good news reporter. Y'all come on in, come on. And especially some of you men. I got the cap off for some things I said yesterday. But hey, some of you young ladies, grab your husband, grab your boyfriend, grab that guy behind that game. He need to get some of this. Yeah, God passing on through me. I'm just saying this here. Hey, but greetings, God morning to every one of you, especially to my new growing Christian family. Yeah, I've been by the grace of God. Uh, Gaining some family members. I'm grateful. It's good to have some family. In the physical, nah, but in this spiritual realm, I'm so grateful. But I wanted to talk about, yesterday I was talking about, oh yeah, subscribe. Come on, like it. What's that other stuff? Get involved. Send some comments. I'm gonna tell you about some comments in a minute that I received. They were some wonderful comments. But nevertheless, I was talking about, uh, doing things decent. Uh, I talked out of order yesterday. But the decent part, I would challenge, encourage, I would ask that each and every young man, every male, every coward of a man, whatever kind of man you are, be good today. Do good to somebody. Don't make a difference who it is. Yeah, don't fuss at your wife. Don't fuss at your girlfriend. Don't beat your girlfriend up or whatever she's supposed to be to you. These are the different kind of men we have that are failing. Yeah, failing. If it was a grade, what was it? F, the lowest grade, I don't know, it'd be unsatisfactory today. Yeah, men. I'm talking about men. Ask some of those women. You know, uh, you got men that sit behind, the game all day. Something wrong with that picture. It's crooked on the wall. Yeah, I know about. I got some OCD, but come on now, that picture that's not hanging right. You sitting down all day and she going out for a job, probably got a very good job. You know, things of that nature. Then you got the long term fiance. You got the young man who bring home babies. Years ago it was a young lady who would have the children, and the man would say, "Okay, step up." I've been talking about that step pop thing, right? Stepdads. And but today it seems like the men are bringing babies to these women, and then they want to, you know, sit and play a game. Don't come up to the point of, yeah, man, it's have to be responsible. Yeah, you got to do something. That's why I say do good. Do good. Good to come back to you. But when you do good, hey, if you have to work another job, hey, listen, I'm only saying this here. Listen, I made many mistakes in my growing in manhood. Like they say, or we don't have that excuse no more. No daddy. My grandfather told me I have a father up above, right? That who loves us no matter what, because man will fail us. Look at the world. Take a look, man in control. I was, hold on, I ain't gonna go there yet. I got to finish speaking to these young men. And some of you young ladies, remember that these men come with game all the time. A lot of us, yeah, a lot of children don't have their daddies. Well, how many do? I wish I'd have got the statistic. We all in the same kind of boat. But some of you young ladies, you may have an older uncle that you could trust, or an older gentleman in the neighborhood who's trustworthy and have some integrity that you may be able to go to, or take your little boyfriend to, because that's what he is, the little boy friend. He's just going to play boy games, right? Now, young lady may feel all that fuzzy wuzzy stuff, but listen, you got to start using more of your intelligence opposed to your emotions. Yeah. And emotions get us in trouble if we don't know what we're doing with them. Oh yeah, I'm up here on top of Blue GB. I was very paranoid this morning. I don't know, I'm paranoid this morning, and I was concerned about. I told you it's basically a bunch of dogs, and I just didn't feel right. I would have been real nervous talking down there. I'm kind of nervous now, but nevertheless, men, we can do good. The man that beats on that woman, stop beating her. The man who walks out, the man who get man, what you doing? The man who walks out on his children and his family, the man who gambles all the money away, that ain't no manhood. The man who cherishes his car or cherishes his horse or his boat way above his wife, yeah, that ain't clubbing up with other so-called men. Yeah, and like I say, and I always believe this, that I believe a woman would run this country with the compassion and the love of a mother. And everybody know how good a mother is. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people may not have had the experience, but we have an idea of what we did not have, just like I have an idea of what I did not get from my daddy. But God above, remember that one. But here, I'm okay, men. I'm gonna come back again because I got to go on and shift gears here. Stay with me for a minute because it's still for you, man, or so-called man, a little boy, or masquerading as a man, a male. That guy who just walks around, all he want to do is have sex with women, hurt young girls' hearts, and then they got to grow up with them nasty scars to pass on to the next man that come. Some of you brothers are out of pocket. I don't care what color you are, out of pocket, out of pocket, and you know it. You're not just failing America, or failing your family, or failing God. You're failing yourself. Come up, do good. It's harder to do good than it is to do bad. It's harder to improve ourselves. Come on now. There's too much information on the internet. Libraries are still open, and we can build ourselves up that kind of way. Am I correct about it? Oh, yeah, I know I am. Because that's how we can do it. We men ain't no go to the weight yard and get some muscles. Come on, man. You want to impress somebody with some strange strength? That don't do no good. Samson ain't had no muscles, but a woman tore him down, right? But a woman today will build you up if you let her, young man. But you think that you know better because you're a man. That's some falsehoods that's been passed down since biblical times. Look in the Apocrypha. His name is Sirach. That evil spirit of man since the Bible days. Then they put it in the King James version or these new wave Bibles today. Sirach, evil man. He a whole lot of this evil stuff that came from and men still do today. Nah, that stuff ain't no good. Nah, we need to bow down to God more collectively as men. I'm just saying. But interestingly enough, yeah, one day I'll get it all together. But when I was recording yesterday, I was on government property and I did not know. And I had recorded there a few weeks. And one of the things I wanted to, like I told, when the two young ladies, I'm skipping stuff, but when the two young ladies came out to me, I had just finished filming, sweating and things of that nature, right? And I didn't know, but I was thankful they were not Karens. I'm going to repeat that. They were not two Karens. They were two of my light skinned sisters. And that's what I said, our light skinned sisters, and they came out and they approached me. They were very nice, and they said that they didn't want to disturb me while I was filming, but they let me know that I was not allowed to really record on government property, and the people that was walking in and out of the building thought that I was some kind of maniac or some kind of report went forth. But nevertheless, these two, I mean, beautiful light-skinned sisters, and we had fellowship. They came to let me know, and they let me know where I could film at. But we started talking about Jesus. One of them talking about her husband is not, because I talked about what I was talking about, manhood, lack there, the lack thereof, in our society. I'm talking about godly men. We ain't talking about males. They gonna be till you grow up towards us men. Listen, but anyway, so the two ladies when they came out, and I explained it to them that I was just filming. I'm a Vietnam veteran, and, like most of us veterans, we have spent time in prison and on drugs. And it was the good people of North Carolina that paid for my education while I was in prison. No, I was in prison in Pennsylvania, not here in North Carolina, but uh, they seemed fit to get me my education that allowed me to earn my doctor's degree. So I was explaining to them, and I was explaining to them some of the topics. One of them was racism, but not the negative stuff. Now, on one of these podcasts, I give, by the grace of God, a really good definition of racism. You should check it out. If you subscribe, yeah, I'm sure you're and listen to them because there's information up in there. But anyway, the fellowship that we had, and they let me know, and of course, we departed. I let them know that my doctor was there, and, and everything turned out well. But then when I got home, now, you know, I met my two sisters, but then I got on the phone with a guy who said he was white. Now, I am very literal. I never believed that. Now, the Indians called them pale face. I think that's derogatory, but I don't know the not no white Crayola crayons. I've said that before. That's something that's in that box, that color white in the box. And when it comes down to it, someone questioning, well, what about you calling yourself black? Well, Negro. Ask a Hispanic person what it means. Ask an Italian person what it means. If you don't know what it means black. Negroes. Not, we don't have to be all those other derogatory names that we have been called throughout the times. I remember back in the 60s, I believe it was, Sly and the Family Stones, a heavy punk, well, not a punk rock. They were kind of psychedelic back then. Different stages of rock. But it was a black for the most part. I'm sure there was a couple of light skinned musicians in the band, right? But they had this song, Don't Call Me Nigger Whitey, and Don't Call Me Whitey Nigger, right? And it made sense to me. It's respect. We didn't need to do that. Call each other out of our names. When I went to the psychologist one day, she was talking about that sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Yeah, names hurt. And Sly Stone was putting it out there because black and white people, as they called them back then, were coming together through music, right? That universal language of music. But you know, um, when the guy said that, I just immediately called him a liar when he said he was white. It just came out. You're a liar. And he said, well, why are you saying that? I said, because a Crayola crayon. And then I took him to that, it doesn't make sense. You've been believing that falsehood for all this time, and then he says, well, no, he kind of got defensive, like, wait a minute, no, I'm not. I didn't say that you were racist. We talking. And that's what I believe, more dialect in this area. We having a tough time in America with it, and we supposed to be the example for the world, maybe. But nevertheless, so I kept on talking to the young man until he told me he was from Europe. And I say, now, see there, that wasn't hard to say, was it? You're from Europe. I didn't ask him what part of Europe. Just wanted them to understand you're not white. That don't make sense. No, you come from someplace. I talked to another gentleman and asked him where he come from. He got upset because he didn't know where he come from. What's your nationality? He did not know. Yeah, he was light skinned. Some of them say they just come from America. But when they say they white, I just don't get that. I'm very literal, and it just doesn't make sense. Black, yes. Negro, yes, because that's who we are. We're black people, right? So now, let me tell you about a couple of these comments online. Now, I'm not talking about people per se of people being a racist. No, I'm just putting it down on the table. The descriptions, some now I might have said some things, but one guy, he well, one of them called me an idiot. One of them told me go back to bed and shut the up. But they were saying that I didn't do it. I'm saying, well, wow, they probably a little kid. What I mean by kid in their 20s, 30s, or 40, whatever. I'm 70, so little kid, and whatever age he is. But he felt guilty. Why? Why did he feel so guilty? Because I'm talking about cleaning up this nonsense, this separation of race, the human race. It's only one. The Bible says we all come from one blood. Now we know that you can't get all those colors out of white, but you can get all colors out of black. And that's the way God set it up. And this is just reality, and we need to face these particular things of what reality brings to us. This is what reality brings. We have matured, we have grown, because for the most part, it was like America still wearing a stinking, dirty pamper. That's right. That's what I said. Now listen, because that message is coming. Who's going to change that stinking, dirty pamper? Because, America has pretty much pooped on itself, you know. Follow the leader. Shut up, Ferman. Listen. But who's going to clean it up? We talk about this mess in America, right? That's what we talk. This mess in America, and it has to deal with people thinking people are different from other people. Yeah, different color, different thinking pattern, thinking abilities, different athletic abilities, and things of that nature. It's so many things that we can, celebrate our differences, not want to go at war with each other. Appreciate one another's differences. Like when those two sisters came to me, I was thankful they wasn't no Karen. I didn't want that noise. I would have respected her too, because that's what God tell me. I respect all people, and that's what we're supposed to do. But when it comes down to this trouble that we have, yeah, we need to talk about it even the more. And I ask and I challenge, I tell you, hey, listen, I thank them young brothers who call, the light skinned brothers. They were a little angry or whatever the case is, the way it looked like calling me names and stuff. But I was glad, that it got something to them. Even one sister, I think her name is Mary, Sister Mary, she says, hey, maybe that touched something in him that he got so angry about it. I didn't say nothing about him. I didn't say he did anything in the past. All I repeated was history is history. And that's what it is. It's just history. So what do we do with history? Do we get better at living from the evidence of history? We always have. We grow like that. We take all that stuff. Yeah, everything, everything we learned. And one of the reasons why I keep talking about these sisters that we should honor, like I said, it doesn't make a difference what color, but these women, these are the same women that brought us into the world. As history would have it, it was the boobs. I can say titties. There were titties that back in the day, some of the light skinned babies were sucking on the black boob. Oh yeah, they got some of that black juice up in them. But they were forced to do it, and what I hear, that could be painful to women. Now, the black women had to already, nurse their own baby, but then they had to nurse um, the other baby. Like I said, sometimes the people who just wanted us to come here and work for them, even to the extreme where feed my baby first from your black titty. Nah, that ain't right. So it's history. I remember one time my wife and I, we were looking at TV, and it was this woman. I don't know where she was from, but she sold booze, and I guess they, gave, that profession, prostitution. And when we see, she was servicing all these Ku Klux Klan men back then. They loved that black woman who served them booze. They loved that black woman who served them with some black booty. Come on now, Dr. Ferman. Some black booty. Yeah. So those things happen. That's in the past. And I'm gonna tell you, before I go, I want to tell you when I was in prison. Now I was in P- Pennsylvania, up in the mountains, like I think it was the highest mountain in Pennsylvania. I think something like that, the Crescent Mountain. And the men up there, they called themselves rednecks. They were the guards, the administration, and most that was housed there were blacks, a few light skinned brothers, and Hispanics, but most of the staff. You have a couple black guards, but most of them was and what they called themselves hillbillies and whatever. I don't know, but they were Klansmen, and I got along with staff, inmates, except for the ones that didn't like me. But anyway, I got along with the administration. The Bible tells us to be obedient to those in authority. And man, of course, I wanted to get out of jail. I ain't making no noise, right? So I got along and very highly respected. Even associated with some of them, my jail keepers, some that kept me, some of the people that was in charge of the prison. I was communicating for a while, but um, these guards, like I said, we could laugh and joke. One guard, he says, I think it was Officer Sullivan. He says, "Do you spend your time reading the Bible as a tithe unto God?" I say that's a good question. He went on further. He said, "Do you tithe your time to God?" I said, "Well, I don't have no money to tithe to God. These pennies that you pay me by here." I say, "No, I do the best I can to tithe as much time as I can. All this time that God give me belong to Him, so I do the best I can as a steward of God's time." Tithing. Yeah, I'm gonna tithe this time to God, giving them preachers your money. Hey, but listen, so these guards. So one of them said to me, "Say, you Felder, you know why we like you and pick on you?" I'm saying these guys telling me that they like me. He says because if they was to apply the kind of game or inmate, I'm in charge officer game that they played, they had the authority, but sometimes they played games, and they say, "Well, Felder, you can handle it. Somebody might go in the hole, somebody might, and they would share things with me." So these are the kind of things they say, "Felder, we want, they like two or three guards around. We want to take you down to Crescent in the city where we have our meetings at. Yeah, we burn our crosses." And we all laughing because it was reality. And they know I understood where it was coming from. And they say, "Yeah, you come on down. We like you. You could be our guest." Remember what happened to the young man not too long ago? But anyway, they were joking. They were really joking. I don't know. They might have been serious. They say, "We could burn you on the cross. You could be like Jesus." But they invited me to a meeting. If it was possible, I believe they would have took me to a meeting. But you know I wouldn't have been going to no meeting like that. Right? So it was all in fun. And I was able to get along. They were light skinned. They were, I can't say white because I don't believe in that. I could just can't get that in. Even some of the TV programs we see with the top Ku Klux Klan man is hanging out with some of the brothers from the hood or wherever they from. I don't know if they from the hood. I'm just saying we got that hood mentality. It is no matter where we come from. Because we were raised like that. We were raised in that kind of environment. We had to deal and survive those kind of things. But thanks be to God, I say like Curtis Mayfield. They shut that song off. It was called "We Are Winner." We are a winner. 1968 civil rights movement was going on, and they wouldn't play that song because they didn't want us to be a winner. Yeah, they. But God is in charge. And I like when I told my psychologist that I believe that America is doing better with racism. And the reason why I say that because we are addressing it. We're talking about it. No matter if you're mean and nasty and still think you're a Christian and of God because you read a couple of scriptures or you somebody told you or the pastor that just as crooked as you are, crooked as a brook. Jesus came to make the crooked places straight, and the presence of God is all out the world, of course, omnipresent. But the power of God and how He's moving in a mighty way. You keep your eyes open because have you noticed that more people are crying out to God? Have you noticed that more people are calling on Jesus? Have you noticed that more people have questions about what's going on in that Bible? Right? A brother was online. He trying to answer his questions and find out what's happening inside this certain part that he was at, but he looking for answers. Yeah, I sent him my name. He can contact me and I'll do the best I can to answer any kind of question that God allowed me to answer. Now, if I have to do some research, hey, I would do that too. I'm going to learn something along the way, you know, because sometimes, people can get answers from AI, but, AI don't always, it tell you from the beginning, I might make mistakes. AI is not perfect. AI been around a long time. Right? They just give it that name now. Robots, computers, they've been around for a while, right? So, it's the same system. But I'm just saying to you like this here. I'm saying to you, men, be good to these women. These women go through enough. Just living in society, they go through enough. They go through enough with their neighbors that don't like each other. You know how women get sometimes. They could be besties today and tomorrow they something different. And sometimes it's because some old low down man, some man that come in between two women, two sisters. I don't see it all the time in what you call the light skinned community. Or, if they from Europe, I don't know where they from. I like to ask them where they from. I know John, I like to call him John the Builder. He said he come from Ireland. Like I said, different places, different folk don't make a difference. Be good to somebody, anybody. You who shout at your child because the child daddy not there. Take a breath, breathe. Put that cell phone down for a minute. Stop texting. Daddies, do your job, man. And like I said, I failed. I failed miserably. And I'm gonna tell you, I have no relationship with my children because that's how much I failed. Now, my baby girl, Nadi, yeah, we doing our best to work it out. It's been working out. I don't think we had any fussing one with another for the last 3 or 4 months. I don't know how long it's been, but I know it was 40, 40 years of separation because, Dad, I'm talking to you. That little girl needs you before some man come and do a wrong thing. I don't care if she's 24. It was a brother. I've been following. I don't know his name yet, But his daughter, hey, some old head want to deal with his daughter, old as he is. He's taking advantage of a 19-year-old. You know, the mind ain't developed till you're 26 years old, right? Well, that's what I learned in school. You know, it get fully developed. And then you begin to learn how to use it. Just beginning to learn how to use it. And then while you're using it, you're making a bunch of mistakes. That's human nature, right? But we don't hide what we do that's wrong. God, hey, he said you can confess them to him. If you don't want to, I wouldn't go to no priest. The priest may be sinning just like I am. I go to God. And hey, I don't knock priests, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't go to no pastor. He want he wants some money. And I ain't saying all pastors, but y'all see, it's like people not paying attention, don't see what's happening, what's going on with the clergy. And then you're gonna talk about, I don't like that other word, that P word, but the church and state. How about the state? Right? The church is worse than the state because the church is hurting your spirit. The church is stealing your money, right? Oh, the state is doing it too. But you're putting your trust in God, or you're putting your trust in that pastor. You putting your trust in that choir. You putting your trust in that band. You putting your trust in that ushers. No, don't do that. Put your trust in God. God is the one. He's the only one that can make you a man. Nobody else can make you a man. Didn't God make Adam? Nobody else made Adam but God. Man, get yourself together. Pull your pants up, literally, young men. Stop walking around here like you're in a jailhouse and want somebody to do something to you. Stop that. I'm just saying, you young men, stop this game hurting these young ladies. I got to go. But you know, I know I'm going to talk about these men some more because listen, how high, how high are we going to get if we got weak leaders in the home sitting behind a game? Weak leaders, they don't even go to school all the time. Don't get me wrong, a lot of brothers go and study. They study hard. But it's a whole lot of room for a whole lot of others that could use some more education. Of course, education, man. Look at some of our scholars. I'm talking about black scholars. Look at some of them. They studied and they left us some goodies, old books. I know, newfangled things, and the AI may not have some of the old scholars' history information. That's the way. Who you think programmed it? So it's programmed that way, right? So now, if it's programmed that way, where you gonna get your information from? Well, what we learned up at the university is go get the old books. AI is not gonna give you everything. This sister gave an example, and I'm getting ready to go. This sister gave an example this morning on YouTube. You know how Coca Cola, and I'm not doing a commercial, can you put a person's name on it, you know, that uh, such and such is good, Coke is good, whatever it is. Not that Coke, shut up. But I'm just saying, Coca Cola is good, right? And when it comes down to it, you can put, a person's name, and it says Jesus is good. It recorded, not no AI, not no Coca-Cola AI. Nuh-uh, it wouldn't take that. Say Jesus is bad. It took that. It took Allah is good. No, it didn't take that. Oh, yes, it did. I think it took everything but Jesus is good. And God is good. It didn't, it wasn't, what was it? It was about Mary Magdalene. No questions about those things that are holy. So listen, machinery, but God, I mean, even in the Bible, God told Solomon, the wisest man, he says, that ever lived. He said, don't put your trust in horses. Don't put your trust in, hey, don't put your trust in people, machines. No, put your trust in God. In God we trust on the back of the dollar bill. We like that kind of stuff, don't we? But when we talk about putting our trust in God, now and I'm still having difficulties learning how to, what you say, end this or stop this. But listen, if one person get one thing out of one of the things I've said, this morning, I thank God I have done what thus said the Lord. So I'm coming back because listen, I love to